Hello and welcome to all my Flosstube neighbors. I'm so happy to have you with me once again. I'm Chris and this is Chris Cross Stitch, and this is a channel about cross stitching and so much more. Today is Tuesday, September 7th, 2021, and this is Flosstube number 17. I'm so happy to have you with me once more, and if you're a new viewer, welcome to my channel. I'm so happy to have you here, and I know that many of you are new viewers, so I hope that you like what you see. I hope you subscribe to my channel. I hope you ring the bell so you can be notified when I do things, and I really appreciate your taking the time to check me out, and I hope you like what you see. If you are a returning viewer, you are the best. You are the best. You are the best. I appreciate you all so much. Last week, I was overwhelmed by the kind regards that I received after I, confessed about the procedure that I was having the next day, which went absolutely fine. But it really meant so much to me to have the support of each of you. And I thought about you throughout the entire preparation and through the procedure itself. So thank you so much for being a vital and appreciated part of my life now. I really do appreciate it. We're going to begin this video, as always, with naming Handstanding Cat. Handstanding Cat is part of Tiki Tree of a Thousand Faces, which is not behind me today because I'm recording in a different room. I'm recording earlier in the day, and that part of the room is flooded with light right now, and it's just not conducive to recording, but Handstanding Cat is always with us in spirit, and we will name Handstanding Cat right now. So many of you contributed names to Handstanding Cat, and I wanted to honor each and every one of them because there were so many good ones I just couldn't pick. So I used the Wheel of Stories, which is actually the Wheel of Handstanding Cat, and today, I love this one. Susan H., my viewer Susan H., submitted the name Tumbelina. That's great. That's so good. Susan, thank you so much for the name. Thank you for watching the channel. Thank you for being a part of this neighborhood. And thank you for giving us the fantastic name of Tumbelina. That's amazing. Just amazing. Later in today's video, I have a surprise giveaway. It is not a milestone giveaway, but it's a surprise giveaway because enabled by the generosity of one of my viewers. So we'll get to that at the end of the video. But firstly, we're also not in front of Ted's change jar today, but Ted's change jar is always active. And for those of you who are new here, this is something that we are doing together here at Chris Cross Stitch. For every comment I receive, a penny goes into Ted's change jar, and that is for every comment on this video or any of my previous videos from the beginning of the channel. At the end of the year, I will count those up, and I am going to make a donation to Dolly Parton's Imagination Library, which provides children under the age of 5 with one book a month until they reach the age of 5 years old. And I am, I believe in reading for children. I think it's vital to their development. And so many of you have jumped on the bandwagon. I have viewers who are wanting to match that donation. And then I also have established a Buy Me a Coffee link, which has had great response. And I'm just so appreciative to all of you who, however you're supporting this, whether it's a comment or a pledge to match, or a donation directly to Buy Me a Coffee. It's greatly appreciated, and I'm so excited about what we're doing. So thank you, thank you, thank you. But all of that is available to you if you want to help support this endeavor. And I really appreciate it. And I know the kids will too. So thank you. All right, now on to the cross stitching, and there's a lot of cross stitch content today. And I'm going to try to breeze through this as quickly as I can and clearly as I can, because we also have Wheel of Story Day today, and we have to talk about the giveaway. So launching right into it, I had a start. As you know, I'm going to be doing 4 starts in September. These are my September starts. I'm using the hashtag SeptemberStart. It's already established on Instagram, but I am using that. So if you're doing a start in September, use that hashtag and we can all cheer each other along. But I actually began one this past weekend. I'm going to do one a weekend through the month. The one I began was my birthday present Dimensions kit, which is Star Wars. It's the Star Wars poster of Luke and Princess Leia. And it was a modest start, but I did jump into it. Prepared the fabric, untangled the thread, the flosses, got it all ready, and started working on it. Right out of the gate, it was I had to blend flosses together. But you know what? This is the first time I've actually stitched on a black piece of Aida. This is a 14 count Aida. It's very stiff. It's, it's not optimal, but I really love the way the fibers pop on that black. So I'm going to enjoy stitching that a lot. I love Star Wars. We're going to, later on in the Flosstube, we're going to talk a lot about Star Wars. I'm trying to save that. But I really do enjoy it. And I'll be talking more about the rest of my starts a little bit later. I'm going to go through my whips first. So there was my start on Star Wars, Luke and Princess Leia. I stitched on more things this week. I made a point to stitch on more things this week because A, I wanted to, and B, I wanted to show you where I am with things and so that you could see things that I'm doing. And if you're new, so that you can see things that are in my rotation that you may not even know about. But I once again picked up my Modern Folk Embroidery MHD 1864. You saw me glance down so I wouldn't get the year wrong. MHD 1864 A Zeeland Sampler. This is a period reproduction sampler that Jacob has done, and I love it. It's my first piece of his that I'm working on. It certainly won't be my last. I'm doing this in the blues colorway. He has three choices if you want to stitch this. One is a very bright color palette, one is a muted color palette, and one is a color palette of his own invention, the blues. Like my shirt today. It's just beautiful, just beautiful. And I am really enjoying stitching it. I worked more, I didn't do much on it, but every stitch counts, right? So I picked it up, and that is my progress on it. Of course, I had to work on some Halloween things. Most of my whips are, and a whip is a work in progress, obviously. Or maybe not obviously, if I am somehow the very first Flosstube that you have ever seen, which I know is probably not the case, but a whip is not a whip, it's a work in progress. So I did a lot on Halloween Cat this week. She got a lot of love. And it's just so much. This is a joy to stitch. I'm trying to really barrel on with this one because I want to use it as my decoration for Halloween behind me on my my dresser when I move back into the actual room where I normally film. But Halloween Cat's great. Jody at Satsuma Street has such a masterful eye with color and with her modern aesthetic, mid-century modern aesthetic, and I just love it. And so many people love this chart. They really, really do. So Halloween Cat got more love. Halloween Cat and all of my Halloween pieces are under the hashtag SPOOKYSUMMERSTITCH. Now, one of my, and I have mentioned recently that, we're at the end of the summer. It is now officially after Labor Day. And not only can you not wear white, apparently you can't stitch with white floss, according to someone in our community who shall remain nameless, but he knows who he is. That's a little inside joke. I'll tell you in a second. But my viewer, Sherry S., suggested that use Spooky Summer Stitch until you wear a sweater or a jumper, for those of you across the pond. Use it until you wear a sweater for the first time. That's a great idea. I think that's awesome. So stitch on some, I mean, here in Southern California, we're having our hottest month. September has become our hottest month. So I still feel fine in using Spooky Summer Stitch. But if you live in an area that actually has seasons, when you wear a sweater, that's the cutoff point. Another viewer, RYZARDT, suggested we do hashtag SpookySeptemberStitch, which I'm totally on board with that too. So if you want to use the hashtag SpookySeptemberStitch, go for it. I'll be using it. There may be only 4 of us, but that's okay. We'll be using it. So those are some new ideas for Spooky Summer Stitch. The other Halloween piece, of course, that I worked on, you know it's coming, is Glendon Place's Sleepy Hollow. So many people have started doing this, and I'm so tickled about it. And there is no way that I am ever going to catch up with my dear friend Steve, Crafty Oakman UK on Instagram, and one of the 2 Crafty Stitchers, Steve and Heather, the Crafty Stitchers in the UK. They're wonderful. NASA is actually developing needles for him made out of the same material that they coat their spacecraft with so that they don't burn on re-entry into our atmosphere. He stitches so fast. He is no longer able to hold the needle because it gets so red hot as it passes through his fabric. It's true. It's true. In fact, some scientists are wondering if they can just hook his hand and chart and project up to some sort of power converter so that he can actually be a source of renewable energy. That's how fast he stitches. Okay, that's enough of that. Some of those are better than others. Not everyone's a winner. Take it for what you will. Anyway, Steve's great. And but there's no way I'm going to catch up with him. There's no way I'm going to catch up with him. So I'm going to support him along the road as I watch him, cross the finish line with it. But I love doing it. It's a great piece. And the more I stitch on it, this is a difficult stitch for me. And it's a difficult stitch because of the fabric that I chose for it. I don't know that I will ever stitch on a Jobelan again. I really don't, because it really slows me down. It's the tension in relation to the fabric, and it's slow going for me. It really is a beautiful piece, and I'm going to be so proud of it when it's done. But it's not. I did not select an easy fabric to stitch on. I really didn't. But I'm not going to bemoan that much anymore. It's just one of the reasons why I don't think I'm able to progress on it as rapidly as I do on other pieces. But enough of that. That's Sleepy Hollow by Glendon Place, another of my spooky summer stitches. So my 4 September starts. I'm very excited about this, and I'm excited about it for a lot of different reasons. Firstly, you've seen one that I just mentioned it. It's my Dimensions Star Wars Luke and Princess Leia kit. So we won't talk about that one anymore. That's number 1. But number 2 is something I'm very excited about. The second start that I'm going to do is another modern folk embroidery piece. And it's part of Jacob's Dark Crosses range. And I know that many of you are stitching these now, and some of you may even be stitching this one that I'm choosing to do as a start. I'm doing Dark Crosses Spirits of the Dead. And I am a huge, obvious, this is going to come as no shock to you as a literature buff, which you know I am. Edgar Allan Poe was, formative with me. I started reading him when I was not in middle school, even before middle school, but probably 4th, 5th grade. And Poe, what can you say? Just amazing. But this particular piece features a quote from one of his poems, And I knew the minute I saw this that I wanted to stitch it. When I was thinking about what I wanted to stitch it on, I had been given by a dear friend of mine this beautiful Picture This Plus shadow linen. I've shown this before. This is a 32 count shadow linen, and I'm not going to take it out of the package, but it's basically a muted black with beautiful modeling. And I knew when I saw that chart that I wanted to use this for it. And I thought, well, you have to invert it. You have to stitch on the black. You have to stitch a bone-colored floss, which is perfect for this, right? So I was actually chatting with Jacob the other day, and I told him, I'm going to do another one of your pieces, and this is what it's going to be. And I said, how do you think it will look? And he liked the idea, but you saw the wheels start spinning, and within 5 minutes, he had generated an inversion of this chart, which I'm going to show now. And I was so excited and so grateful and so happy that he liked the idea, and that it was so kind of him to do that. And not only that, he is now going to offer this on his site as a version of that particular chart. If you get that, if you purchase that chart, it will be a version. And if you've already purchased the chart and you would like to have the inversion, all you have to do is send him an email, he has said, and he will provide that to you if you've already purchased the Spirits of the Dead chart. So Jacob, you're amazing. Thank you for doing that. I'm so excited about the product. I can't wait to see what it looks like stitched up, and I know it's going to be beautiful. I think I'm going to do it with sulky thread. He and I discussed that, and we think for the coverage of the light on the dark, a sulky is going to be the best. And I believe I'm going to use a light, I don't know what they call it, but I'll let you know as soon as I start it. I think it's going to be a light cream that is the right tone that I want. But I'm so excited about that. That will be my second start. My third September start is going to be something that you've seen previously, but I'm really excited about it. It's my nutcracker tree. You will notice that I am segueing now into holiday. And this is X's and O's by Joe Gatenby's Nutcracker Tree. I'm not going to stitch this the way it looks. Obviously, there's not obviously in that that's not fabulous. It is. It's obviously more in that I have to make things complicated. No, I don't know how I'm going to do it. I'm still ruminating on how I want to stitch this. I have had it suggested that this would look gorgeous on a blue fabric with white, using white fibers. I've heard, of course, red and white. I've thought about doing each of the motifs in a color that's applicable to their particular variation in the Nutcracker, which I could do. I don't know. I just don't know. If you have ideas, let me know. I'd love to hear them. I will, before I begin this in 2 weeks' time, because I'm starting one each weekend, before I begin this, I will know, but, or 3 weeks' time. This might be the last one that I start. Let me know. I'd love to hear what you have to say, but I'm really excited about that, and I love this pattern. It's so special, and the Nutcracker is special to me. I danced in many, and I just, I'm excited about that. You know, it's funny when you do Flosstube, you think you have everything prepped and ready, and then you sit down and you realize one thing that you need to talk about is all the way across the house in another part of the house in another box. So I need to go get that right now. Please excuse me. Okay, so I love that so much. So everybody, we had lots of good responses about this terrific fabric. This is one of Fiberlicious's Fabric of the Month offerings, and I got it and I pulled it out and I received, and I was like, I have no idea what I'm going to do with this. And I had a lot of great responses, but this was a brain worm for me. I couldn't get it off my mind because I knew I was meant to do something with it. There is nothing in my house that's pink. Surprisingly, but there is nothing in my house that's pink. And I just couldn't figure out what this was going to be. And then I realized that the cherries and the colors are reminiscent of the cherry blossom trees. There's the pink and the yellow of the center and the overwhelming aura, if you will, of this became more about cherry blossom trees to me. And that started me thinking about, and we are segueing right into Wheel of Stories. And I'm going to circle back to the start because it made me start thinking about my Uncle Jimmy. And that makes no sense right now, but hopefully it will make sense in just a moment. My Uncle Jimmy was my mother's older brother. And he was the only one of my uncles, not my great uncles, because I had more of them in my, not many, I had many more great aunts because they were widows, but I had a few great uncles, but Uncle Jimmy was the only actual uncle, younger uncle, that I really had in my life. My mother had two older brothers. One moved all the way across the country to here in California, and I had no relationship with him whatsoever my entire life, other than over the phone and photographs. And he was wonderful, but he's another story. My Uncle Jimmy was a part of my life. He was a factor in my life. He and his wife and their children, my three cousins, would visit us on holidays. They would come down during the year if they were ever passing through. They lived in Birmingham, Alabama, and we were about 2 hours away in Northwest Alabama. And he would visit, and they would I may cry today. I'm just warning you, I may cry today because I feel it bubbling up. Push down, push it down. He would visit us, and they would come and they would play with me. I mean, my cousins, two of them were girls and they were twins, and the younger boy, I was older than all of them, but not by much. We were only separated by a year. I was 1 year older than the two girls, and I think the two girls were a couple of years older than my cousin. But he and I played Star Wars together. We had the best time together. And Uncle Jimmy was always there. But Uncle Jimmy didn't know how to take me. He didn't know how to, I don't think he understood me as a little boy, because my Uncle Jimmy was a sports fanatic, and he was a really good athlete in high school. He was an educator. He was a coach. I don't think there was a period of time in his life as a teacher when he wasn't coaching a team of basketball, mostly basketball, but he was always coaching something. And then later he became a principal of a middle school, and then he stopped coaching. But he was such a sports nut. He could literally be flipping among 2 or 3 games on television. He would have his earbud in his ear attached to the radio because, there was no Wi-Fi then, listening to another game on the radio and reading about one in the newspaper, all at the same time. So Uncle Jimmy and I, as a little boy, were about as opposite as you could be. And I saw it in his eyes. I could see it when he looked at me, even as a child. That internal monologue of, I don't know how to, I don't get you. But he was always loving, and he was always supportive. And then when I got a little older, I think he understood me, because he did something that changed my life forever. He took me to my first musical. We were visiting in Birmingham, and Birmingham had a professional summer stock company that was called Birmingham Summerfest. And every year they did huge musical productions, and they would bring in Broadway stars to be with the local talent and what have you. So, and I know you're thinking, how does this go back to cherry blossoms? But I'm gonna get there. So we were visiting them one summer, and the specific reason that he came and he brought my grandmother and I to Birmingham was because Birmingham Summerfest was doing the Music Man, and he wanted to take me to go see it. And we, one evening, we went, and I saw the first musical production live that I had ever seen, and it changed my life. He got me in somehow, some way. He had finally gotten me. Pebbles in a pond. The interesting thing about that show was that the woman who was playing Marion, who was a Miss Alabama in her day, when I was in my very first Summerfest show years later, because I went to school in Birmingham and I auditioned for that company, and I was cast as one of the dancers. My very first show, she was in it. Pebbles in a pond. The way this all ties back to cherry blossoms is that my Uncle Jimmy served in the Korean conflict and was stationed in Japan. And he was fascinated by the culture of Japan. It was the first time he had been out of Alabama, and he was, and to be, plopped down in this incredibly beautiful, breathtaking country. He just loved it, and he took photographs. And he brought gifts back. So when I was a little boy, our house, so many things were from his experience in Japan. He brought my mother back a beautiful jewelry box. He brought back the real silk kimono. He had photographs of the temples and the shrines and the beautiful landscape. And it instilled in me a wonder and an appreciation for that particular culture, the culture of Japan. So, Uncle Jimmy's responsible for a lot in my life. And ironically, he's responsible for the fact that on this, weirdly in his honor, I'm going to be stitching Miss Cherry Blossom from Mirabilia on this pink fabric. This cherry blossom fabric. It's my first Mirabilia, and it'll be a great start, and I'm so excited to do it. And it will remind me of him that sports guy, my Uncle Jimmy. Uncle Jimmy passed away unexpectedly in his early 50s, about 25 years ago now. But that's what I'm doing on that fabric. And that's what I'll be doing. That's the story of my Uncle Jimmy and how he really changed my life, even though he didn't understand me completely. You know, I don't plan these. I don't script any of this, obviously. I don't think any Flosstubers really do. I just know that, okay, I know why I'm gonna do that piece, and I'm gonna go in, and today's Wheel of Stories, so I'll talk about my Uncle Jimmy, and oh yeah, he took me to my first musical, and that's amazing, and I always felt like he looked at me kind of sideways and blah, blah. But I don't plan. The emotional journey that you see me taking is real time, folks. This is like live TV. And, you know, thank you for indulging my catharsis. I do appreciate it. And I hope that you get something out of it. And you at least, if anything, I'm illustrating the fact that your crafting is special. And you should do things that mean things. Do things that mean things to you. At least that's my opinion. That's my philosophy on life. So that's enough. No happy mail, no haul this week. So we're going to move right into the surprise September giveaway. I'm so excited. My dear viewer, Courtney M., wrote me and she's like, I have a couple things and that I got extras over, etc., etc. I want to send them to you, if that's fine. And I said, absolutely. So today, as just a special little September giveaway, enabled by Courtney M., my viewer Courtney M., I'm giving away the September Sampler of the Month from Country Cottage Needleworks. I'm going to put up a larger photo. This is very cute, this little sampler. She sent me two. I initially thought that I was going to use them both as giveaways, but I'm going to, at least for now, keep one because I think I want to stitch it. Not in September, but I do think I want to stitch it. But Courtney, thank you for that. If you want to be considered for this giveaway, please use the word September. Do you remember? That's a good Earth, Wind, and Fire song. September. September, the word September. We will be doing this. You have 1 week to do it and to make your comments. I do the drawings for these on the morning of my Flosstube. So 1 week from today, I will be drawing for this. Please don't use the word giveaway in your comment though. Please be 18 or older so that I can ask you for your email. Please be a subscriber to the channel and do like the video. Those are the standard rules for giveaways here. Also, if you win one, please send me your address as soon as you see it and notice it. From one of the giveaways, from the very beginning, I was just able to get that done because I finally got an address. So it was helpful, and I will always honor those, but sooner the better, so you can have it in your hands. So September for the September Sampler of the Month. So many of you watched the interview that I did with Becca at Sambry Stitches. That interview was posted on Sunday, this past Sunday. It's of course still active. If you've not gotten a chance to check it out, I encourage you to do so. She's fantastic. And we had a great time together. And I just once again want to publicly thank her for taking the time to do that with me, and to once again offer up my appreciation for what she's doing for Flosstubers. You get to see a slice of us, a facet of us when we're doing these videos, in however we choose to present them. But what she's doing is really great because, you know, she enables you to see sides of us that you don't normally see. So, or get to hear about things that you don't normally get to hear about. So please, if you have not checked out Sam Stitches, the Flosstube channel, Sam Stitches, please do. Her interviews are great. Her floss tubes are great. She stitches beautifully. She lives in a beautiful part of the country and you get to see beautiful trees behind her usually. So please check Becca out. She's wonderful. And I know that she would appreciate that too. Last time I sang for you guys. Some people wrote me and said, I only did it for like a millisecond. It was just a little quick. But some of you asked the question, was that actually me singing? Yes, it was. Because I still feel a little bit odd about that. I did kind of a weird kind of dream thing with it in an echo chamber and what have you, but that's me. I have a hairband in my hand. I don't know why I'm waving this around. We're going to get rid of that. So that's today's video. Thank you so much for joining me once again. I hope that you enjoyed the story of my Uncle Jimmy. Thank you for indulging me. It went on a little longer than those usually do, but and kind of went in a roundabout way, but sometimes that's how this works. And next week we will have Under 1,000 Subs Club shout out. We will do Chris's Toy Chest again, more works in progress, probably some more haul. I'll have another start because I'll have started another thing between now and then. I don't know what that will be. It might be Spirits of the Dead or it might be Miss Cherry Blossom. We shall see. Whatever gets to me first, materials get to me first, will dictate what will be started. So until then, have a great week. Happy stitching. Thank you for being a part of my neighborhood and take care. Bye-bye.